Hi, welcome. Shalom Aleichem. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you and to give an explanation on this piece, the Shivat HaMinim piece, otherwise known as the Seven Species. It's my hope that this will be the first in a series of videos about my work that will enable more and more people to be able to enjoy and appreciate and be inspired by my work. Let's take a few moments to talk about first of all, what was the underlying foundation of the whole piece. Putting it plain and simply, it was to explore the relationship, the unique relationship between Hashem, God, the Jewish people, and Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel. Without further ado, let's start over here. There are many, many different things happening in the piece. We're going to go through them one by one. Let's go here to the base of this tree. Now the tree here is representative of the Eitz Chaim and the Eitz Hadas, the tree of life and the tree of wisdom that were found in the Garden of Eden. There are those commentators which say that these two trees were actually one tree. Irregardless, from the base of the tree came forward a very large river. And that river then was split into 4 rivers. Hashem split the river into 4 rivers, one of which going to the land of Israel, and 3 of which were going to the rest of the world. Now the tree is represented to me here as the body, the physical existence of mankind. And we charged here there's a pasuk in the Torah which charges us with a mission. Ki adam etz hasadeh, that a man is likened to that of a tree. Why? A tree does acts of loving kindness. A tree gives fruit. A tree gives shade. A tree gives wood. And so too, we're also enjoined by the Torah to do acts of loving kindness to our fellow man. Now that being said, how do we do that? Well, we do that with the physical faculties and the mental faculties and the resources and the special gifts that Hashem has put at our disposal. And each and every one of us has something different and unique to offer. So those faculties are represented here in the piece by the branches of the tree. Now, then the question is, well, once we have all of the resources at our disposal, then we have to go out and accomplish. And that's represented by the fruits of the trees. Or in this case, I chose to represent those fruits and focus on the Shivat HaMinim, the 7 species. Because each one of the species, as I've painted here, has at least one or many different mitzvot that are connected to it. Now, Hashem gave the Jewish people the 613 mitzvot. And so the Jewish people, using the Torah and the mitzvot as a base for our operations, so to speak, we are then enjoined to negotiate the world and to accomplish. So let's look at each one of the different minim. So here we start with wheat, and I've done all the minim in the order of brachot. Halacha dictates to us that we say the blessings in a specific order. That being, we start with the blessing that would be said over bread, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. That always takes precedence. Then the second one that would take precedence would be wine, the blessing over the wine, borei pri hagafen, and so forth and so on, leading up to the most simple, let's say, that seemingly being water, the bracha of shahakol niya bidvaro. So I chose matzah as a representative for chita, and that's a segment from the Haggadah, matzah zo, where the matzah is introduced in the Seder night. Then seorah, barley. Here I've represented the psukim and the sfirot that they're part and parcel with the commemorative service that we have between the 7 weeks between Pesach and Shavuot, in which we offer, so to speak, the barley offering. Now, those 7 weeks, each week corresponds to a different Kabbalistic sphera For example, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut. And each sphere has its own color range, as you see. And within each sphere, represented each day within each week, is a different artistic element. So you have 7 times 7, which represents the 49 days between Pesach and Shavuot. Then grapes or wine represent here by the Kiddush for Leil Shabbat, Friday night. Zayit, the olives, represent here by the menorah. There are many psukim that deal with the menorah in the Torah. Here I've put one of them. And the menorah is part and parcel with the land of Israel. So that's why I've juxtaposed it here with the Beit HaMikdash, with the temple. And as I said before, one of the rivers that came forth from the foundation of the tree was the river that led to the land of Israel. And that here I've depicted leading right to the Beit HaMikdash, to the Holy Temple, where water was an integral part of the day-to-day service in the temple. Okay, what about dates? So dates is represented here by the lulav. The lulav is one of the Shivat HaMinim, one of the 4 species that we take, that Hashem has commanded us to take on Sukkot. So that's the spine-like looking branch. And if you ever look at a date palm, you'll see the very thin spine-looking branch in the very center of the tree at the top. Take a look next time. Then we move on to fig. Now fig is represented here by a beautiful pasuk from Zechariah. That he writes that on the day that the foundations of the Beit HaMikdash will be poured, will be set, on that day there will be abundant peace and security amongst all Jewish people. So that's why I've illustrated here 2 Jews making l'chaim. Lastly, we have the pomegranate. Now the pomegranate is a very interesting comparison that often is made between the 613 seeds of the pomegranate and the 613 mitzvot of the Torah. So we learn that, and that is derived from a pasuk, a verse in Shir Shirim, in the Song of Songs. And the famous commentator, the Malbim, elucidates that for us. So that's why I've put here Taryag in the Ramon. And as far as the mitzvah goes, that's associated with the pomegranate, so one of the unique things that the Torah teaches us is that one of the garments worn by the high priest, the Kohen HaGadol, called the Me'il, had a hem around the bottom. And around that hem were 72 different rimonim, pomegranates, interspersed among 72 golden bells. So that's why I've created here 72, or essentially representative of the 72 pomegranates and bells. So different colored rimonim, pomegranates, and different golden bells. And the garment was made out of the color tchelet, the sky blue color. Okay, let's take now a step back of the piece and look at it all, bring it all together. Again, the idea here is talking about the Jew using his physical resources and abilities that Hashem has given him, and the different skills and talents to create in this world. Ultimately meaning to create what's called a dir b'tachtonim, a dwelling place for Hashem in this world. That is our mission. And that is what I see as the message of the piece. To take here, Eretz Chita, Sarah, Gefen, V'teina, V'rimon, Eretz Zayit, Chem, Shem, and Devash, a land of wheat, barley, grapes, figs, pomegranates, olives, and dvash here, not meaning bee honey, but the date honey. That is the different species that are here. And then this pasuk here, bringing everything together, Eretz Asher, a pasuk from Sefer Devarim, from the book of Deuteronomy. Eretz Asher Hashem Elokecha daresh ota tamid einei Hashem Elokecha ba mereshit hashana v'ad achrit shana. That the Hashem is watching over constantly the land of Israel, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And that is the idea here. The idea here is that when a Jew is engaged in using his skills and his talents faithfully for Hashem, creating in this world, creating a family, being involved in a livelihood learning Torah, doing acts of loving kindness, doing whatever he can to the best of his ability to serve God, then indeed Hashem will watch over the land from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. I want to thank you so much for joining me. It's my fervent wish that these ideas hopefully have been able to inspire you, and I look forward to joining you again in another piece. Thank you very much, and regards and blessings from the land of Israel.